I met a lady that I met on on a road that her and her husband had a mold. They come in and clean your air ducts and get rid of all the black
Mm-hmm.
mold, and you can't be in your house for 24 hours after you do the procedure. And her husband passed, and I thought, well, I'd heard that her husband passed, and I said, well, that's the end of that. And then she was there today, and she walked up to me and she goes, "Do you still have your black Mustang?" I said, "No," but I said, "I'm sorry to hear about your husband." I said, "Do you still have your company?" She said, "Yes." I said, "Do you have a card?" She said, "Yes." So I brought that home to Tamara. So
Get your ducts cleaned. Get your ducts in a
get
row.
get your ducks in a row.
Last time I had a guy come out and do this, he said I should know better, and you're gonna do your fatherly thing to me, like when I told you I stopped my car to help a woman in distress, and you were like, you could have got mugged, and went down that whole road. So sometimes you get that shit in the mail, like they used to call them penny savers. I don't know
Yeah.
what they call them now. So like duct cleaning, it was like $49 or whatever, 99.79, whatever it is, the price. So my wife's like, "Do you think it's legit?" So I look at the phone number. I said, "Well, it's a 917. It's a New York number, so they're in the area. They obviously service the." So we hire them. They come out, and they begin to. The guy starts his process, and the act begins. And so they start. And he goes, "Got to let you know, this this one right here, um, found some black mold." I said, "Well, yeah. I mean, it's there's moisture, right? It's because it's ducted for heat and AC, so there's hot and cold throughout the year." He's like, "Yeah." I said, "But we are told immediately to stop. We don't want that to become friable in the air." And he said, "So we have to do the $300 black mold cleaning service." So me and Kev, we're kind of, I mean, different cities, but we're kind of from the same place. So I
Oh
go,
yeah.
so I said, before you write that up and put it in your computer, I'm assuming that like you do some of this. You could probably do that for cash, and nobody would know that there was fucking mold or not mold here, right? He's like, "Well, I'll tell you what, see, do $100, then I could spare you the three." So that was it. So I gave him the $100, and I had them cleaned. But I still felt like a fucking like I got worked because it was supposed to be
Well,
49 and then was fucking 100 on top of it.
yeah, but all I know is I remember when they got done, and T and Tamara and I came home the next day. We had to go find a hotel that we could bring our dog, and so we spent the night and we came back and we walked in the house. It was like it was the purest air on earth. The smell was
Mm-hmm.
unbelievable, and it stayed that way for a long time. And then, you just no matter what, man, that just those storms with 120, 130 mile an hour winds, they'll find a way to get water in the places in your house. And so we've got uh, the air conditioning system that's in the uh, main bedroom, and it's in that the add-on part of the house is up in this attic that's the gable's like 35 feet tall. So when you go into the attic, I mean, I can stand and put my hand up and not touch.
Mm.
But everything's up there, like the whole air conditioning unit and everything else, and they've got fucking all the piping and the pans and the drains and like that's it's like working on a nuclear fucking submarine. You've got to do maintenance. I ain't doing shit.
I know.
I ain't fucking like I have a rule. If I have to go above the second rung on the ladder, that's the Bob Nash
That's what I
rule.
was gonna say. Bob said there are
But
people
there's
who
yeah,
need work.
there's people called firemen that go up ladders. You're not one of them. Like fuck you, man. I remember years ago when we bought our first house in Phoenix, and Tamara said, "Could you please just go out and do the peak of the garage?" in the front of the house with the big Christmas lights. So I went out there with the ladder and the staple gun, and I'm putting these things up, and man, I fucking shimmy my fucking body weight a bit, and I'm probably 17, 18 feet off the ground, and about took a bump off that fucking ladder on the concrete,
Mm.
and I remember fucking just. It was like 7 days we couldn't use our garage because the fucking lights that I didn't put up were just hanging straight down in the middle of the two garages until I found somebody, some handyman to come out there and finish it. But I, to me, it's just like, you know what, man? I can always go make more money, but fucking man, you take a bump off a. My
Oh
aunt
no.
took a bump off a fucking a ladder and landed and fucking put a fucking bone through her foot, and
Yeah,
it's
if you're
like,
not Jeff Hardy,
yeah.
you're not gonna know how to fucking land.
And I don't even know. I don't even get how he paints his fucking eyelids and gets that whole fucking thing to work. So
That's almost more difficult than the.
then the ladder,
Yeah.
yeah. So I don't know. But
Uh,
anyway, I had to get up early. To me, I had the ribbon cutting was at 10:30, so I had to get up at 8:30 to to get this done. So
you must like these people. They must have.
you know what the thing was, Chris told me, he says you need anything, and I do have a piece of my roofing that it's just decorative, but it got peeled off during the last storm, and I just haven't, I just haven't had somebody out there because nobody has a cherry picker to fucking go up 35 feet because they're not going to, scaffold that, and they're definitely not going to put ladders and
Mm,
do it. And I don't know if you remember the peak of my house is like, it's fucking I mean, it's the pitch is
mm-hmm.
incredible, and so he said, no, he said, you need anything? He says, there's a hurricane, and you lose your power. He says, you give me a call, and I'll have the guys bring out it. And they got like I was walking through like part of it today. They got generators, that you put diesel fuel in them, but I mean they're like will run your house,
Right. Mm.
So not only did I have I got to be there. I got to see how the Daytona Beach Chamber of Commerce works, like how the whole like as to watch that whole rigmarole because they really put this company through the ringer to fucking to okay them to build out there, and because they've got fuel and all these other things, so it took them 18 months from breaking ground to get this thing cleared and open today. So, but it was kind of cool to like be and all the people are you know brilliant. Everybody that works there is you can just tell when you're like everybody I sat down and talked to, I had a really good conversation with. And believe it or not, man, there's a lot more Democrats in Florida than than, than let than let fucking
Especially in
let be
your neck of the
known.
woods, which was
Yeah,
surprising to me when you told me
yeah,
that.
yeah. It was you know
Fans of the show, I guess,
yeah, a lot of
if
it, and
they're
and
like minded.
they've a lot of you got a lot of shout outs. Make sure I told you hello. So hello from Sunbelt Rentals, and if you guys get a chance, if you're in Volusia County, Sunbelt Rentals, got them also in they've got one in St. Augustine. They've got one. Well, just go online, Sunbelt Rentals, and tell them Nash sent you.
Mm.
Tell them Click This sent you.
Yeah, exactly. Um, let's